Welcome, Aztec Nation, to another episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. The Aztecs get absolutely punished in the pit down in New Mexico. Of course, we all saw it, 62-48. But no time to cry about it. Got two big games coming up this week. We're going to talk about it all. Stick around.
Aztecs long trip here. They took one on the chin wrap. They lost by double digits after New Mexico pulled away in the second half. They double up on the post. Outside three. Washington lights the layup.
Now a yo-yo lift.
Junior Joseph spins, going to shoot over two. Coleman Jones got a piece initially. This is Cade Dotson. Buries a three.
That's his 12th of the year. He's a confident kid.
Beecham and pulls. Deep shot.
A logo, maybe.
Coleman Jones. Wow. Big shot for the Aztecs.
Now coaching high school kids. That's his grandson, his nephew, excuse me.
Boy. Bird buries a corner three. They're one of two teams in the country. St. John's the other. Top 25 in both blocks and steals. And right now showing the prowess at this end. It's a fun time of year in college basketball. It's into the new year. True Washington. 2-on-1. This is Dent making it look easy. We're asking some questions here. Since that result, they have won 7 straight.
There you have it. There you have it. 7 straight for the Lobos. Welcome, everybody, to the Sons of Montezuma podcast. Thank you for making this your watch or listen. If you're joining us live here on YouTube, it is a Sunday evening, a little out of the norm for us, as we usually like to record on Mondays. But, you know, it's a quick turnaround this week with the game on Tuesday night at home against Colorado State. But we want to thank you guys for joining. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button before you do anything, and it doesn't cost you $1, not a nickel, none of that. Of course, you guys know me, Mateo. You can find me at Mateo San Diego on X, Twitter, all that good stuff. And very happy to see these handsome gentlemen to my left and to my right. Of course, you know him. You cannot stop him or contain him. Only hope to contain him. Fiend, how are you doing, man? Good to see you.
Oh, I'm doing okay. Recovering from that beatdown that we took yesterday, but it was good to see you guys over at that bar in North Park, Fair Play, and you know I had a good time seeing you guys. But the game was really, really rough to watch.
Shout out to Fair Play in North Park. If you guys haven't been, they open up super early on the weekends because they're usually watching soccer or football. So we got down there super early, took over the TV, and you know. We had fun. Of course, anytime we get together, it's always a good time. But, oh, boy, it was one of those games. Mike! Can I hit it? Can I hit it? I love it. How are you doing, Mike? How are you doing up there in East Tahoe?
Cool. We're good, man. You know what I mean? Like, tough loss, but I went out and bought some Legos and a puzzle, and, you know, life moves on, bro. You know what I mean?
Life moves on. 62-48. Absolute. It was a beatdown, guys. Let's not sugarcoat it. We're gonna get into it all. We see you guys all in the chat. Thank you for joining. We'll get to your comments in just a few. But I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat this, guys. 2 years in a row, losing in New Mexico in the pit. We were there last year, as we kind of previewed in last week's episode. We didn't spend too much time on it because we still had the Air Force game when we recorded last week, and boy, that was a crazy game. Air Force came out losing 20-8 until we brought in Ferrari, and then everything changed. The whole dynamic shifted against Air Force. We put a lid on the basket, went on an insane 40-4 run at one point, and just cruised in the second half. Right? We knew that couldn't happen again going against New Mexico's different caliber of team in the Mountain West, completely different level of physicality that you're going up against, and a completely a true road game. Probably our first, I want to say, real road game, because when we played Boise and we won on the road, I don't think school was in session. And second, they were coming off of a loss in the college football playoffs. I think they were all kind of malaise a little bit, just kind of down in the dumps. Not taking anything away from that game, but this game against New Mexico, it was just a different animal. And anytime you go into the pit, as we evidenced ourselves, things can spiral out of control very quickly, very quickly. A lot of talk this week, and we kind of addressed it, was, okay, is New Mexico our rival? Are they a rival? Do we consider them a rival? Fiend, what do you think? Give us your first thoughts on this game and how you kind of walk away looking at New Mexico this season and on a larger scale against us.
Yeah, it was a beatdown. We absolutely got beat down. Credit to New Mexico. They outplayed us. They outcoached us. They just played a better game. They were the better team on the floor. As far as the rivalry, I would say during it hasn't been a consistent rivalry. It hasn't felt like a consistent rivalry. I think during the Alford days, when Noodles was there, it felt like a rivalry, those games. And then I think that Richard Pitino coming in has really kind of renewed that rivalry. And so, yes, I would say at this point it is a rivalry. They're very tough to beat at the pit. As we've seen 3 years in a row, we've gotten beaten down twice, and we had to have a buzzer beater to beat them. Those guys, they show up. Their culture is amazing, just like ours is, with our fans. But it's a very tough venue to play at, and I can't wait for the revenge game in February at Viejas.
I know you dug into that whole revenge angle in your preview of the game, and I kind of gave you some pushback on that because I think that's heavy on fans, right? We're there year in and year out watching this matchup. We got memories of yesteryear, right? The past has not escaped the fans' collective consciousness. But when it comes to the players, Mike, these players, it was really Bird and Heidi who really only had experience against New Mexico in the pit. Everybody else was either, redshirt freshmen or looking on the outside, looking in. So for the majority of this team, it was their first opportunity of playing in that environment at altitude. I think that was something that was hit on by Ziegler and ourselves in our articles. So those were factors coming in, and just bottom line, this is a young team. This is a young Aztecs team. What kind of struck you first in general at this game, and kind of what you took away? Because I mean, we can get into the stats after you kind of give us your little breakdown.
I mean, they just put a whooping to us. They just put a whooping to us. When you get out rebounded offensively 18-3, you're not going to win very many games, right? I mean, they didn't shoot great. They just got more chances than us, and it is. So I mean, this is the interesting part to me. You had a stretch where you kind of played at home, or you had a week in between games. Now you go Utah State at home, at Boise, Air Force at home, at New Mexico. Now you have 2 games in a row at home and then 2 on the road. That and then you throw in the schoolwork and stuff like that. That's tough, man. You know what I mean? Going, coming back, going, coming back. You don't get in a real flow. I don't think, at least I don't. You know what I mean? It's tough to get in there. But I mean, there might be a reason. Well, let's. I mean, there's a reason New Mexico was picked top 1 or 2 or whatever it was to win the conference, right? They're a very good basketball team, and they just took us to the woodshed like they did last year. But it's just one of those games, man. Like, we've had a game every few years. Like last year was against New Mexico, a couple years against Nevada. Where they just beat us, and then all of a sudden we figure it out. Look at New Mexico. They lost to New Mexico State, and they've run off 7 in a row. So one game does not make a season. It's a bad game, not a bad season. in terms of the rivalry, I'm going to switch it up here, dude. I wouldn't say Boise or Utah State's a rival. I think New Mexico is, because we're 5-4 against them since 2019. In the 2020 year, we didn't play them because those 2 games got canceled. So since 2019, we're 5-4 against them. To me, that's a true rivalry, right? So that's going to be, they're a good team. You know, I think did they play Boise or Utah State this week? No, they play Utah State, I think. So we got a lot of game left, but we got it's a young team. So it's going to be some inconsistencies and stuff like that. But the rebounding thing, that killed us, you know, but we also still held them to 20 under their normal average. You know, they're a high scoring team. So we did what we needed to do on defense. We just couldn't do it. Offensive boards and shooting. So it's one of those nights. And it's a day game. We tend to struggle on those midday games, you know, for whatever reason. Histrionics of it. So.
Well, I think the travel comes into play with that, and everything you mentioned, right? Kind of facing these top tier Mountain West teams back to back to back. You had Air Force intermingled in between there, but the travel, everything that kind of comes with that, the short prep for a very talented New Mexico team. Like you said, they were one of the top, projected teams in the conference, and I think we see why. They're pretty deep, they're pretty big, they're long, right? They're physical. They got that ability. I think losing House, right, is a big blow, but I always love listening to the opposing coaches' post-game pressers, you know, or generally the losing. I love hearing the losing post-game pressers. I don't see anything from Coach Dutcher afterwards. Of course, travel probably dictated that and being on the road, but I think that's where you're really going to hear a lot of the real talk, right? You just lost. What do you need to work on? What happened? But listening to Coach Pitino, Fiend, and I love that you brought him up, you know, because he really has solidified the program there at New Mexico. Of course, the name is all, you know, the Pitino name brand is going to get you. It already has proven to open up a lot of doors to players for them and whatnot. So, but, you know, he was pretty adamant that, look, this game was going to be ugly. It was going to be this. You know, he wasn't fazed by them being held underneath their averages or whatever. They're you know, they want to get out on the break, and they did a couple times on us. They got us, but he knew it was going to be a grinded out game. And like you said, Mike, those offensive rebounds, just to me, that was the story of the game, because there's so much that goes into rebounding, man. Your toughness, your ability to focus on not just the guy you're covering, but what's going on in the game, man. You know, crash the boards, get those boards. And that's something that we had been doing really, really well up until this game. So, you know, a lot of disappointment to go around in a lot of different facets. I mean, just looking at the stats, guys. Miles Bird, 14 points. He came to play, you know, and that was, how do you say? I mean, it was encouraging, right? But you kind of break it down to where he was the only one that really had played on that court, in that environment, in this rivalry. There's no doubt in my mind, this is a rivalry. They've been down for, you know, a good stretch. Haven't won a tournament game since 2012. You know, we're always going to hold that above their head as long as we can. Of course, nobody in the Mountain West really until last year, a couple wins. So, I mean, this game is always going to be super important. We felt it this week, Fiend. This game is like, what do we call it? Their, I don't want to say it's their Super Bowl, but I mean, the stripe out, all that good stuff. Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, they came to play and they were ready for this game. They wanted a piece of us, and they got it. And they played. I thought they played masterfully, man. The way that they played. Our defensive approach was to stop Dent, and so we switched every single ball screen, and that resulted in mismatches. So we had guards who were trying to guard Nelly Jr. Joseph and Amzil, and that was what caused the offensive rebounding difference. Is we had small guards who couldn't keep their guys off the boards. And so when the shot went up, we played good defense until the shot went up. But our strategy backfired on us because we could not secure the defensive rebounds. And they had way too many second chance opportunities and second chance points. Could we have done some things differently? Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking in retrospect, maybe we could have, hard hedged the screens like they were doing to us. Maybe, I don't know. It just seemed like we were doubling too much. Trying to double in the post, leaving guys open for 3-point shots. They didn't shoot great from 3, but they knocked down enough to make a difference. That rebounding. I think we talked about it at the bar. Make them earn that double.
Yeah.
Why are we just defaulting to double teaming? Why are we just handing off instead of trying to get around a screen and just switching every ball screen? I don't know. I think our strategy needs to change a bit because teams are going to continue to make us pay in that department.
Yeah, that was a big point of emphasis that I was I don't want to say hammering in at the game, watching the game, but it was one of those things where it's like you want a player to earn that double team. If he's hot, okay, send somebody to run at him, disrupt him, get rid of the ball. But I mean, Joseph, he's a big dude, right? So if you have those mismatches, you're kind of forced, if they would run a pick and roll or whatever, a screen or whatever, then you get a mismatch. You got, Boyd having to cover the big man down low, then you have no choice but to double. But if you're immediately starting off with a double, you got a big on a big. I personally just never like that decision. Like, make them earn it. If maybe his shot's not falling that day, but you're immediately putting yourself at a disadvantage. He passes it out, and they were passing it out. The ball movement was excellent. As soon as you're getting double, somebody else is running, cutting, whatever, or he would just pass it out. And the best way to beat a defense, a really good defense, I mean, at the beginning of the game, it showed SDSU number one in so many categories defensively. But the best way to beat a defense is just pass the ball quicker than the guy could get there. And essentially that's what they did. But, the coaches, it's a strategy they picked, and it's game 1 against these guys. You definitely don't want to downplay it, but it's a learning experience for this team. They tried something, didn't work. Okay, you learn, make those notes. Is that enough coach speak for you, Mike? Does that kind of satisfy the outlook on this game? Like, you learn, move forward. Yesterday's history is what?
Tomorrow's a mystery.
Reading rainbow.
I don't know what else you do, man. Like, you have a game plan, it didn't work. Here's the thing. Like, now that I look back at the stats, it felt like they shot really well, right? That one kid from Arizona played pretty good. But then you start looking at the stats. Did they play well, or did we just not play good? They had 19 more shots than we did. They shot 21% from 3. We shot 31%. Right. They shot 40% from the line. We shot 52%. I mean, obviously, you have 19 more shots. And that's because you have 18-3 offensive rebounds. That's 15 more. So half of every offensive rebound they got pretty much was an extra basket, right? 7 out of 18-ish. But here's the other thing. We had 14 total turnovers. They had 9 points of that. They had 9 turnovers. We had 1 point. So there's your 3 stats. For me, it's total shots taken, 18 more, 19 more, whatever it is. The turnovers and points off turnovers and the offensive rebounds, man. Like, it's pretty simple. And I think if we went back and looked, those are probably the same stats that we had when we lost the other games. So it's just one of those things where, we held them to a half court game for the most part, which is what we want to do. And it just didn't work out. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, it's, and the fact that, the crazy stat I heard was, I can't remember if it was their best start. I don't think it was their best start, but their best start in conference for New Mexico in like 47 years. Tip their hat to them, man. Like, your first time in 47 years. That's like, what were you in kindergarten, Feed? Was that what when you were? Yeah. But that was almost half a century, man. Like, the fact that they are playing the best basketball they played in half a century is, hey, kudos to them. I mean, that's crazy that it's been that long. So, but sorry, Brian.
I just want to go back to your point, Mateo, about, you beat a good defense by passing the ball. And we made New Mexico look like a really good defense because we tried to dribble. too much. And I think that's a big issue with this team is we do not pass the ball enough to move the defense and then, get advantages in the offense. We're always trying to take our guy like one-on-one, or the big issue with that we were having in this game was they were hard hedging the pick and roll. And so what we needed to do was to reverse that ball to the wing, and then from the wing get it into the post, because the postman's open. If you have their defender, their center that's hard hedging up top, then your postman is open, but you can't make that pass in because they're so close to you. So you have to reverse it, get it to the wing, and then into the post. And we're not doing that. We try to dribble out of it. And that's a big issue why we can't, we were taking mostly contested shots in this game. And the other thing is we got guys that just hang out at the 3-point line. And when their defender leaves them, they just stay there. They don't cut to the basket. And we've seen it now in the UCSD game. We've seen it now in the Utah State game. And now we've seen it in this game. We could have had so many layups and dunks and easy shots if our guys just cut to the basket. When your defender leaves you, you cut to the basket. And then you get your defender is not there. You're right under the basket. It's an easy open look. And I don't know. Maybe it's just me because I'm coming from a water polo background. I played some basketball, but I played a lot of water polo and I coach water polo. And you're always taught when your defender leaves you, you cut to the goal. Same thing in basketball. And that's what's just like really frustrating me is like these kids are not learning from these mistakes. We could have had a lot of open buckets if we had just cut. Okay. Now I've said my piece.
Rant over, off the soapbox. No, that's sound stuff. It's sound stuff. I mean, because regardless of the sport, a lot of it is spacing, right? The elements are all the same, in certain sports where you have like a goal, like a soccer, of course, when you're dealing with close proximity on a basketball court, or in the pool, or whatever the sport is, it's that spacing is so necessary. So yeah, I mean, I hear you. It's almost coming from, we didn't play up to the level. We made them look good, and I think the stats kind of support a lot of that, like what Mike was alluding to, the field goal percentage. When you look at the stats, I mean, you're looking at some characteristic things that the guys did. I mean, Coleman Jones had a decent game. Boyd dished out assists. Guath had four blocks, I believe, in this game, which was pretty awesome to see. But that rebounding, the offensive awareness, I think, and a lot of these things, I'm just gonna say it. A lot of these things, at the end of the day, is just gonna come down to playing in the pit. Playing in the pit. I cannot emphasize that enough. If you don't come prepared for that onslaught of fans just raining down, if you can't quiet them up early and bottle them up with something aggressive and positive for your team, I mean, it just goes. It just goes, and it's never ending. And they ride it, and they rode it. They rode it on Saturday to a victory.
We couldn't make a run. After the half, we had that 5-0 run, and then they just made timely shots. So they weren't like blowing us out. I mean, they made timely shots. They stopped our runs, and they had great offensive rebounds. And so, I mean, that's something that it happens once in a while, and unfortunately, it's happened the last 2 years to us down there.
The second half, we went 8 minutes and 42 seconds without a field goal. We had 4 free throws. I have the possessions here. You want me to read them?
Well, didn't we have like a 5+ minute in the first half? There was a couple droughts, right? Long droughts.
Yeah. Second half one was brutal.
This was our possessions between 13:57 when Bird hit a 3, and between 5:15 when Boyd hit a 3. Bird missed 3 twice. Taj turnover. BJ missed jumper. Boyd turnover. JCJ missed jumper. Bird missed 3, McKinney turnover, McKinney missed layup, Farrell 1 of 2 free throws, Goon missed 2 free throws, Boyd missed layup, Farrell 1 of 2 free throws, Bird missed 2 free throws, BJ made 2 free throws, and Bird missed jumper.
Yeah, just very uncharacteristic. Incredibly, especially the free throws.
And we were only down 9. We were down 9 with 13:57. By the time Boyd hit that 3-pointer, it was 58-42, 5:15 left. Game is over at that point.
Yeah. Interesting. With all of that, it's just an ugly game. Just an ugly game. And they played uglier. They played scrappier. They wanted it more. They were focused. They had the crowd behind them. And boy, it was what it was. It was what it was, guys. We all saw it. And unfortunately, we have to rub our nose in it because you're not going to learn. I know, Fiend, you tried to rewatch the game for studying purposes. It's tough. It's tough to stick your nose in it and learn something from it. Watch it. Remember this. New Mexico's been playing on edge after losing to New Mexico State, in-state rival. They've had they've been on edge for a while, and it's showing that they've won 7 in a row. So, hey, young team, we got to get to that point where we're on edge and focused enough.
Fortunately, we don't have to play there again.
They should read that book. They should read this book. It's pretty interesting mindset. It's like a fixed or flexible mindset of, hey, I'm good. I'm just going to continue to do what I want to do, or I'm good, but I can still continue to learn and get better. You know what I mean? We know it's going to probably be the latter, but this book is interesting to see how the mindset of human beings is and all that stuff. So,
it was really good to see the guys on the team, the veterans like JCJ say, yeah, we need to take this like grown men, and we need to get back in the lab and just get better. And that's what you got to do. Just get back in the lab and get better. And so they have another week or so until school starts up. So they've got some really good time to look at tape and get some practice time. And hopefully they change some things and they just get better.
All right, guys, we're going to switch things up. We're going to answer some of the comments there in the chat. But before we do that, I just want to remind everybody to check out sonsofmontezuma.com, our online shop. You can find all of our different NIL products, of course, some of our custom products. We got some new Magoon gear, some Goon Squad gear going on. I love these shirts. Want to make sure I'm giving them their shine over here. You can check it out. New hoodie going on here with the Goon Squad. Any support you guys give, it goes directly to the players. Their NIL partnership with Sons of Montezuma is one we're very proud about, and so definitely want to give them their opportunity to earn some revenue. Make sure you guys check it out, sonsofmontezuma.com. Guys, do we want to get into the chat just a little bit? Let's get into the chat, guys. Okay, Angelica, she says, tough loss. Expectations were not met. I still believe. Go Aztecs. I like that. Human Ziggy said, have y'all noticed that every team we play, a guy that is not shooting well ends up shooting amazing against us? Ty Washington, last game. Tucker Anderson from Utah State and the guy from USD. Yeah, no doubt. Washington, he came out, hit those 2 early threes. Kind of off of the double team. They passed it out. Washington wide open, pretty much nailed them. And there's always that chance when you're playing a team on their home court. The unsung heroes kind of come out a little more confidence in their stroke, hitting the shot. So that's one of the things you got to face against hitting a team on their home court. Of course, Utah State, boy, and that dude, and they continue to win. Utah State, good Lord, against Boise. You guys were texting me about that. I didn't see it in live time. I had to go back and watch the replay. Martinez with the toilet bowl swish. Good Lord.
Yeah, it's just like Darius Brown last year. Remember that guy who hit all those big last-second shots for Utah State, and it pretty much carried them to the regular season conference championship. And now they got guys doing the same thing this year.
It's that Mormon magic.
Is that what it's called? I don't
know. I just thought of it. I just made it up.
Huh? They call it spectrum magic.
It doesn't have the same panache.
Yeah, I mean, come on, bro. I mean, you completely ruined it. Let's move on, please.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Spot on from DJ Dubs. It could have been a lot worse. We could have made it a game, but no one besides Bird looked the part. Kids are young, cliche, but it's true. Just hope we can get it together moving forward. And you know what, DJ? That's a fair point. It's a fair criticism. I think one thing we all know though, and why I'm not tripping. The sky is not falling for Aztec Nation. We've been through this last year, right? We saw it happen. New Mexico is a tough place to play for great Aztec teams. Great Aztec teams, it's a tough place to win. So we've been through this before. Dutcher teams get better as the year goes on. They learn. I don't have the exact quote, but last season I remember Dutch speaking on some of the early season miscues, and it was kind of one of those things where you got to allow the guys to play their game. And then in certain areas, when they see playing my game is not exactly working to the benefit of the team, then you kind of reel it in. Okay, now listen to my suggestion. Listen to me as the coach and the coaches, what direction we need to go to improve and get better. I think it's a masterful way to coach. You build trust that ways. You really earn the respect, I think, in a lot of ways as well. So who knows what's going on behind closed doors? We're just seeing what we're seeing on the court. But in Dutch we trust. That is for sure.
I want to see with these guys. I want to see more commitment to the shot. Like, I guess I don't know if this makes sense, but don't be afraid to be afraid. You know what I mean? Like, there's a few shots, and I think as the game kind of started leaning the other way, that they were, and I might have just been, dreaming this, but like it looks like they were afraid to take the shot. Then they would dribble and kind of take another one or pass it up and stuff like that. Some of those shots you could have just, hey, bam, go, shoot, because we got some good players who can shoot there. Miles does it. Nick seems to be in a little funk a little bit. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe he's a little tired, but I know he'll bounce back. But like the guy said in there, Magoon, take it, shoot it, go, and then follow it. That's what I like to see is I wish guys would follow their shot more instead of, just embracing, hey, look how good that looks, because they want it to go in. It's like kind of reminds me of Nick Young. Remember when the Lakers, when he shot it and he thought it went anywhere like this. He turned around.
He looked back. He didn't even watch it.
He's like, what happened? But
Jared Lucas did the same thing last year, I think. At Nevada.
I would say my biggest pet peeve in basketball is not following your shot. Like, it's just shoot it and then follow your shot. Like,
fundamentals.
Just go, man.
Fundamentals.
So, I mean, they do it sometimes, but if I think they did it more, shoot. Because if you shoot it, you kind of know out of your hand, hey, okay, it looks good or it doesn't look good, and maybe that's part of the reason they just kind of like watch it. But there's certain shots you're like, ooh, I don't know, and so that, I don't know. That's just a side note, but like follow your shot would be one thing that I would love to see a little bit more.
Yeah, I could see maybe how they wouldn't do that against New Mexico, just because New Mexico is such a fast-paced tempo team. They want to get back on defense.
True.
But yeah, no, I think for the most part, I'd agree with you on that. I would like to see Magoon take more threes. He shoots a really good clip, but he's just not taking a lot of threes. And unfortunately, in this last game, he was open a couple of times where our guards drove into the lane. There's like three guys on them, and they're trying to throw up a shot. I think one goes over the backboard, and they miss these shots, and you got a guy like Goon out at the 3-point line, kick it out to him for an open three. And so, yeah, I would like to see him take more shots on the perimeter, definitely.
At home, especially, right? You got 2 games coming up where you're going to need to play, get some of that confidence back. Confidence in your shot, confidence in your ability in attacking, whether it's following your shot or attacking the rim, whatever it is. Human Ziggy, quick turnaround with Colorado State on Tuesday and UNLV Saturday at home. Let's bounce back and get back on track. They're going to have to really quick. That's why we're recording tonight and not tomorrow, because Tuesday night, Colorado State comes to Viejas. Colorado State is 3rd in the standings. If we're looking at the standings right now in the Mountain West, That's what it is. That's what it is. Utah State up ahead, 6-0 in conference, 16-1 overall. New Mexico, of course, right behind them, 14-3 overall. Then you got Colorado State. They've won 3 in a row, and I think they just beat UNLV, right? They kind of handled them, like, decisively. What was it? I'm trying to find that score. I don't see it. 91-64. They beat Fresno State. Excuse me.
84-62. 84-62. They beat UNLV.
Oh Lord, yeah. So I mean,
I mean, this is a massive game. This is
Yeah.
a huge game because they're 4-1, we're 3-2. So if they get to 5-1, and you have 2 other teams, we'll leave Utah State and New Mexico out of it right now because I don't know their schedule. But 4-1, 3-2. We win, we're both 4-2. We lose, we're 3-3. They're 5-1 or 4-1, 5-1. So to me, this is a huge game. This is the first must-win game of the season if we are going to be in the discussion of winning the regular season conference, regular season title. Because I don't know. I mean, Utah State and New Mexico are going to play each other twice, and but this is a really big game for us. And then I think it's a must-win at home.
Well, and you're at home.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're at home.
Yeah.
You got to defend home court. That's the most important thing.
Especially
2
after losing
games.
the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Colorado State's looked a lot better the last 5 games. I mean, offensively, they're playing really well. They beat Nevada on the road. I mean, they only lost at home to New Mexico by 8. And man, yeah, they've trounced these teams at home, and so they're surging right now. It's definitely going to be, I think, a tougher game than maybe we thought earlier on, based on how they were playing in the non-conference, than how they're playing now. So we certainly got to show up and be ready to play against those guys on Tuesday.
Well, don't tell that to Vinny. He says schedule over the next few weeks is soft, with the high majority being very winnable games. I don't know, Vinny. I don't know. I mean, maybe at home we'll see a different team come out and put the wood down. But this Rashawn, I want to Memba, is that his name for Colorado State? Rashawn Memba, 250 pounds, 6'7", sophomore. He's been playing big lately. And then of course, I think his name is Nick Clifford. He's in his 5th year. And
Great player.
Average, what did he have? 22 points last game. 22
He's a
points.
fantastic player. He's going to be a real handful for us.
Yeah, I don't think any of these games are necessarily soft. UNLV, it kind of goes back to the same thing. These teams get up for us. They get up. We're the top dog in the conference. Everybody wants to win at Viejas or beat us on their home court. So we're gonna get everybody's best. And Nico Medved, good coach, man. Good coach.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna be a great game when we go to Moby in a month and play them. That's gonna be a fantastic game. Very tough game at Moby. Be awesome to see us pull out a victory there. And
well, we're gonna get a good look at this team on Tuesday. We'll get a good look, get a chance to see what they're gonna bring on the road. But 3-game win streak is a big one. Oh, okay, guys. Where else we want to talk about? Colorado State. It's a big one. The women's team unfortunately lost. They're on a little bit of a downtick now that the conference play has started up. Hopefully things get turned around. But yeah. Kind of what the deal is.
Congratulations to Gazada for having 1,500 points. That's great. She got so that's a big mark to get. So that's a great accomplishment for her.
Yeah, straight baller. Well, guys, anything else we need to cover before we turn the page on this new week? Colorado State, UNLV. I don't think we left the team off the hook after this performance, but at the same point in time, it's early, and we're gonna have to make sure, like you said, Fiend, when they come back, when the Lobos come back to Viejas, we got to turn it up a couple notches.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I think this is a great rivalry, and it will be a revenge game, and we certainly will remember that bad taste in our mouth from this last game at the pit, like we did last year. So, Aztec Nation needs to show up, show out for that game. Big one.
Like what DJ says, what really sucks is we don't have any quad 1 games in a while, and nothing that will really put the Aztecs back on the map in the national picture for a few weeks. Still got faith in our Aztecs, though. Quad 1 wins. That's Mike's favorite topic of conversation. I mean, we played all the heavyweights pretty much, and Colorado State coming up, top of the conference. Got to win that one so you kind of even things out and kind of prove that we belong there in that top. But these national TV games, boy, everything looked really good for New Mexico. They really dial that performance, that entertainment value up and make that place very special. And then the team just follows through. At Viejas, you know, I don't want to say we're not a hostile environment, because we are when things are rolling, but it's just different. Just a little different. I think it's a little classier, right? Just a little classier than the pit.
Not in my section.
I had a nice exchange on Twitter with one of our followers, and just saying, you know, some of the things he's seen in the pit from his vantage point, working in the media. I know you guys probably saw those comments as well. You know, some of the things he's seen there in the pit. It's just a different animal in the pit. Like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It's just the culture. They really, how do you say? They really feed into really making it a hostile environment. Whereas I think us at home kind of keep things a little more, how do you say, PG-13?
I don't know. I don't know about that. Maybe. But when's the last time we've had a game on CBS or Fox at home?
Wasn't the Utah State game? Was the Utah State game national? Right?
Yeah.
That was national. Yeah.
Oh, that was national. Okay.
Yeah. Not the. Yeah, tough one.
Yeah.
Tough one to put on there. Just win, go Aztecs. I get it.
I mean, we have a chance. We have 5 games left at the end of January. You know, I mean, that's a good stretch to figure yourself out, win those ball games, see if you can get all 5, obviously, but kind of learn on the fly, get better. You got 2 at home, then you got to go 2 at home, which we'll see our boys up here in Nevada at the end of the month. But hey, just get better each day, man. Get better each day. Go into Colorado State, you get that dub. All right, let's get that. Let's go from there. So there's not much else you can do. I know you guys give me a hard time about that, but you know, Colorado State is a good team. I know we were talking about going up there and we're like, all right, is this team going to be good or not? And obviously it's good. So that's good for us for that game up there. But young team, get better each day and learn from your mistakes, man. That's the best teacher is losing, even though you don't want to. And they could, you know, hey, see what you're not doing. This, you can do this, you can do that, because it's easy when you're winning, man.
So no big wholesale changes or anything you think needs to be changed, and whether it's lineup or, I mean, you know, everybody loves to have those starting 5.
It's nothing different. It's the turnovers. Or I'm sorry. Well, turnovers 1, but it's the rebounds. You get offensive, you know, out rebounded off by 15 offensive. It's the same thing that happened in the other losses. They got out rebounded. So it's not like it's a new bugaboo that they have. It's the same thing. They just need to get more consistent at it. And, you know, they just got outplayed and out hustled on the boards and stuff. And then it kind of trickled down and dematerialized from there. But to me, it's, hey, just go out and fucking play your game. More often than not, you're going to win. But, you know, you just figure out what you did wrong in this game, own it, make your weakness your strength, you know, or try to, and just get better at it, and just go ball out, man. That's all we want. You know, we want our guys to have fun, play well, get some boards, obviously, and then just go out and just put yourself in a position to win. Like games like that, you didn't even give yourself a shot to win it. Utah State, they made a great shot at the end of the game. Congrats to them, dude. Good for them. We've been on the other end, right? So it's a long season, 20 games. This is a good conference, maybe probably better than some people thought it was going to be, but there's a lot of basketball left to play, and let's just see what happens, man.
Cool. Michael Tortolà.
Very well said. Very well said. Fane, you got anything to add before we wind things down? I know you had your offensive tactical adjustments that need to be made, but a lot of that is just, not so much schematic. It's just kind of this along the same lines. Just be a little more focused and more aware.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to keep in perspective that we've played 3 really tough games against probably the top 3 teams in the Mountain West. So the schedule is going to get a little easier. I mean, I'm including us in that. So top 4, us, and then Boise, Utah State, and New Mexico. So I think it's going to ease up a little bit. Obviously Nevada is still a tough game. They, took New Mexico down to the wire, and New Mexico actually stole one from them on their court. Like we said, Colorado State, Wyoming looks, better than we thought. So there's still going to be some tough games, but I think we just played. I think our record doesn't really indicate like how good we are in the Mountain West with 2 losses, because I think some of these other teams have not played as many good teams as we have.
It's kind of been a thing the whole season. Before we kind of wrap things up, the lack of a post presence. But I think people are still kind of stuck on the idea that, we don't necessarily have a Jaden Ledee down there in the post presence anymore, right? So, I mean, that's not the focus. That's not the focus of this offense. Supposedly we should be wing heavy, guard heavy, right? So I don't necessarily think going inside out is the focal point of this offense. I don't think it was by design from the get-go. So that's kind of low-hanging fruit. I think people are kind of looking for a low post presence. That's not the makeup.
I think you can still get shots at the basket with playing outside in, but you got to make the right passes. They got to be quick, and you got to be more decisive. We're just too hesitant. Our guys look lost. They look like a deer in headlights against this New Mexico team. And so we need to be more decisive on the offensive end, and we need to move the ball. And that just comes from practice and drilling, and hopefully they're working on that. And if we do that, I think we're going to get a lot of easier buckets. We're not going to miss as many at the rim. Just need to execute better.
Execution. All right, let's wrap things up so Mike can go finish his puzzle. He's very close to finishing that puzzle, dude. I know you're a puzzle guy.
I love puzzles, man. It's a puzzle at Santa Anita racetrack. I used to go when I was a kid. When my grandfather owned racehorses up there. So, I was like, all right, man, this is cool. So who doesn't love a puzzle? Right?
Boy, this basketball season is a puzzle. You never know what the picture at the end is going to look like. Maybe it'll be another Sweet 16 NCAA appearance. I don't know. Maybe it will be. Maybe it won't be. But hey, that's the fun of putting the puzzle together, right?
You know what? I at this point in the season, I'm just enjoy each game, right? Because you have how many games left? 15 games, 16 games left. So just enjoy each game, because.
I did not enjoy Saturday.
Yeah, but that you gotta eat nothing. Life is never just smooth sailing, right? So
we'll just be glad it's over when it's over.
Yeah. So hey, man, it's just enjoy each game and watching these guys play and mature, and we'll see where they're at. And let's see where they're at in 10 games. Say, and then you still have 7 left. So you have this next stretch through the end of basically, whatever it is. So. Just enjoy the ride, man. Worry about the postseason when the postseason comes, and if it comes, and where it is and what it is. But don't like Kobe said. The enjoyment is the journey, not the end, the destination.
On that note, on a little bit of a somber note, guys, I do want to send out some Aztec love to a good friend of mine personally, Bob Long. Many of you guys who are part of our community and been around, you know who Bob Long is, old Aztec friend of ours, and just personally to Sons of Montezuma, he's always been great to myself and to everybody here and what we've been doing. If you don't know who he is, he's the one he really works a lot with wood. So if you ever see Carlos, the Aztec warrior, walking around with his they call it a mocahuito. It's not the spear. It's like the wooden with obsidian blades on it. It's like an old Aztec tool weapon that they would use. But anyways, Bob, he's my Montezuma, as you would say, maybe a mentor in this keeping the Montezuma alive and in our own special way. And just want to send our best wishes and prayers to him. His lovely wife Molly passed on just these past few weeks, and just a special couple they were. So definitely want to just take this time to send my love and appreciation for what he means to me and to Sons of Montezuma, because they don't make them like they used to, man. They don't make them like they used to. Different generation. And Aztec Nation, we got a lot of good people in this fandom. A lot of good people. So make sure you appreciate every game, like Mike says. Every game. Appreciate every single one.
Yeah, I mean that's terrible news, man. So Bob, we're thoughts and prayers with you and your family, but that just kind of goes with my thought process of it's just a game. Like you look at all the other stuff you got going on, and you get to connect with people and things like that, and we're all going to the same place, man. Not to get morose here, but that's why it's like the meaning of life to me is interactions with other human beings. You know what I mean? And friendships and stuff like that in sports. So yeah, I mean, that's a tough loss, man. We're with you. We're thinking about you, and we're praying for you. But hey, man, everybody's day to day. So just enjoy each day as they come.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, guys. Well, we thank you all for making this your watch or listen, whether it's on Sunday night here or first thing Monday morning. Got a busy week. Colorado State comes to town on Tuesday, UNLV on Saturday. We'll be there. If you see us, and say hello. Don't be scared. Been seeing a lot of people coming up. These last few games have been great. And thanks again for everybody showing up at Fair Play and for Fair Play themselves, being hospitable with us. sonsofmontezuma.com. Make sure you check out the NIL shop and everything we have going on there. Guys, we live to fight another game. Let's make this happen on Tuesday. Beat the Rams. Behalf of SD Sports Fiend, Mike Tortolaz, Mateo San Diego signing off. Thanking everybody for joining us. We'll see you guys later on this week. Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs.